the main event.
We have come to the main event, and our main event is showtime, folks.
The
Actually,
juice is loose.
the juice is loose, right?
The ghost with the most.
Yeah, and actually, believe it or not, that's also another line that everyone thinks he says that he doesn't. He says it's showtime, but the folks part, that's from Looney Tunes.
Ah.
So that's where everybody's like, "Oh yeah, he says that." No, that's not true.
Well, to go into our wrestling fandom for a moment, what wrestler famously say, it's showtime,
Sting.
stinger. But back to this movie, of course.
So we saw the number one hit movie of the weekend, which was Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. And I believe this movie has made a nice little
It's doing well.
yeah, it's doing well. It's doing very well. It's doing so well that it made over $100 million over the weekend.
Now, if we could rewind for a moment, when you
Okay.
first got the confirmation of the news that this sequel was happening after over 30 something years, were you excited, or did you think that, oh no, they should just leave the original alone because it was so good, it's a classic?
I put this as one of my top three
Oh, that's
must-see of
correct,
this
yeah.
year. So I've wanted to see this since they said, "Hey, we're going to do a Beetlejuice," because I loved the first one. And you know what? After watching this movie, yes, there were a lot of callbacks. Yes, there was a lot of
Easter eggs.
there were way too many Easter eggs. There were so many Easter eggs that I was just like, the whole time during the movie. But the thing is, though, do you feel like this movie is worthy of being a good sequel?
I believe so.
Okay.
If you recall what I said in the short, was it worth the 36-year wait? I said, absolutely, go see it. Now, let me turn around on you. Did you believe this movie did a good job of honoring the first movie while, and we're not disgracing it, honoring the first movie while doing its own thing and serving as its own thing?
Okay. I do. I feel like this was a good sequel. I feel this movie did great. My only issue with it is, and it's such a stupid
I
issue,
think I know what it is, but go on.
and it's because when he dropped the F bomb, they censored it.
Yes.
And because of that censoring of the F bomb, I was just like, oh, come on, why? Like, most people who watched this movie guaranteed it was such a quick thing when he first said in the original movie, in the 1988 movie, when he said fuck, it was such a, like, you didn't even see it coming.
It was probably a break the fourth wall,
Not really. I
wink
mean,
to
he
the
was
camera.
sitting on the if I'm correct, I believe he was sitting on top of the tombstone when he said it. But the point is like, it came out of nowhere. Just like this F bomb came out of nowhere, but they bleeped it. And I was kind of sad about that. I was like, why? Why would you bleep it? The original one had it. And PG-13 movies are allowed one F bomb per movie.
You are correct.
So I don't know.
The movie definitely captured on its nostalgia, the driving force of the movie. I feel like I got the best reactions with the scenes with Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder as Lydia and Beetlejuice. Like, you felt the chemistry, you felt the magic.
Yeah. Oh, and also another thing about this movie. You mean to tell me in the 30, almost 40 years since the original, and Lydia is what, like 16 years old at that point? From 16 years old to, like, let's just say she's in her late 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
She has the same hairstyle? Come on.
Well, apparently, we saw what her character has abilities, an successful TV show.
Well, it's not that she had abilities. It was the fact that
Not abilities, she has a sixth sense.
right, because she originally saw the original,
Right.
from the first movie. You saw the original quote unquote powers, like,
Yeah.
because she was, what she said, she was weird and she can see weird things that's gonna happen to her. So it's just that she lived in a haunted house.
Exactly.
So she was able to see. She never got out of that I don't see ghost type feel. and because of that, she made up millions off of that.
Let me ask this: with with the character, with her character, uh, what would you think they did a great job, not just with her, that the original cast with the scene stealers, while the new cast did their thing? Like, they let the originals take center stage.
Okay. So the originals did great.
Exactly.
The new characters were not in the movie enough, and they didn't do anything super spectacular for you to feel like, oh, these except for one character, and that is Bob.
Rest in
And
peace, Bob.
and I want
It-
everyone to know that you should watch this movie, and after watching this movie, start posting hashtag justice for Bob.
Justice for Bob.
Let's get that going because Bob was as Grim, because Grim saw the movie with us, and Grim said that Bob is, and I totally agree with you, Grim. Bob is national treasure, and
That's so. I mean, I love Monica Bellucci as a actor and person, but that's so sucky bitch. What did Bob do to you?
right,
Bob was just holding down the fort. You know, he was trying to keep everybody working, but they before they ran away into the real world.
yeah, poor Bob. Justice for Bob. Remember that, everyone.
Now, getting back to Lydia, I remember what I want to say about Lydia. Do you remember what you said when you saw her look and her show? What she reminded you of?
What did I say? I don't.
Elmira.
Oh, Elvira. Yeah,
Elvira.
Elvira. Yeah, because when you first meet Lydia, she's literally Elvira. She's like a talk show host where, she talks to the people about their haunted house. She goes to their house. She sees whether they're haunted or not. And to me, I felt very, Elvira type deal. Like she had her own type TV show like that. So that was a cool little thing that they
Yeah,
twisted on.
but Michael Keaton returning to his other legendary role. Say what you want about the Flash movie from 2023. You know, he was the best part, returning as from Batman '89. He returns in his other legendary role, Beetlejuice. Him and Tim Burton are back together.
Mhm.
The great part about this role is, it doesn't matter how what his age is, because
He could still look the
yeah,
same
and Beetlejuice is hundreds of years old anyway.
since the what was it, the Black Plague?
Yeah. Now, no, this wasn't a problem for me, but from somebody else's point of view, I could see one criticism, that was there too many arcs going on at once?
No,
You get
because I mean, you had Lydia's, which coincided with Jenna Ortega's character,
right, the mother and daughter dynamic.
right? And then you had Beetlejuice because it's Beetlejuice,
Right.
and you had his wife coming after him.
Yeah, his ex-wife. You had William Dafoe's character.
Yeah, but he wasn't really an arc. He was just more like a side character that
Yeah.
was just trying to stop what was happening.
Catherine O'Hara as Delilah was hilarious.
Delilah?
Not Delilah.
No, not Delilah. What? Delia.
Delia.
I was like Delilah.
Destroy words. Sure, we're working on the shirt. Anyway,
Yes, he's working on the shirt. We're gonna have
she
shirts available soon.
she was hilarious.
She was, but I feel she overdid it slightly more so than she did in the original movie. In the original movie, she was more serious.
Right.
In this one, she was more comedic. She was like, think of her as a comedic Karen.
Yeah.
Because at one point in the movie, she just skips everyone out of the line, walks up to the front. Do you know who I am? Do you know who I know? Do you know this? Do you know that? Blah blah blah. Like, and she was too much of it. Now
She was playing up the rich entitled character.
right, exactly. I totally agree with that. But I think I think it went too comedic, but I think it was okay.
What else? How they killed her? Where you thought she was dead at first? The snakes she thought were defanged, but were still
Well, she
poisoned.
paid for defanged snakes, and she obviously didn't get them. She got poisonous steaks. But I want to ask you a question.
What's Go ahead.
How do you feel about the whole segment of what happened when they killed Charles with that whole
Oh, I was gonna ask you this question.
claymation type stop out motion type deal where they just instead of having the actor because he had some legal issues and stuff like that
I
from a
think
few
it was
years
just put
ago.
in for comic effects. I think it was, it drive the plot a bit, It was a bit weird, but that's part of the zaniness of the movie.
It's also the zaniness of Tim Burton because that's what
Yes,
Tim Burton is known to do. He's known to do zany things.
but Tim Burton, this cast, the writers, they did an amazing job. This is a fun movie. And perfect timing, right before spooky season, right before October. I personally would have put it in October. I know you can't put every horror theme Halloween movie in October, but the timing was perfect.
Right.
It's well loved. And like I agree what you said in the short. Don't listen to the critics. See it for yourself. It's just so good. Did it get too much of a musical at the end for your taste, or you didn't mind that at all?
Okay. So it kind of bothered me that it went on for as long as it did. I
Yeah.
felt like if it was toned down a bit, it would have been better. I feel like the length of the movie was great.
Yeah.
The pacing was decent. It felt like almost like watching the original, but not really. So I, I think it was great. I think the movie is worth a watch. Now, is it worth a watch to go watch it at the theater?
Yes, indeed.
I would say so. I think you will enjoy your time going to the theater, plopping down on that seat, getting your popcorn, and watching that movie. And I feel like it's great. It's good.
Oh, one thing I want to touch upon, not that it affected the plot or anything, but we had an amazing cameo from the one and only
Danny DeVito.
as a janitor. Of course, he was a Tim Burton.
It's funny you say that because he played a similar character from the original movie that was another janitor.
Ah,
Now, that guy who played the janitor in the original movie passed away before the movie came out in 1988.
oh, gotcha.
So he's playing a very similar looking type character.
Well, as you know, with Tim Burton, he likes to use his collaborators over and over again. So to give, I think they only worked together on the Batman movie, right?
The Batman movie, yeah.
Where he was Penguin, but that role was perfect for him.
And fun fact, since you brought that up, you know why Monica Bellucci got that part?
Why is that?
Because they're dating. They really are dating, but that's not why she's in the movie.
She killed it in her role. Now, another thing,
It was cool. Before you jump
yeah,
off, it was cool how she was in pieces
yes,
and she took the stapler and she's just stapling herself back together again,
yeah.
which I thought was a cool thing. But when you think about the way dead people work, I don't feel like
It's a Tim Burton movie.
yeah, all right, fine.
But the musical sequence to it, and you know who did the soundtrack? If it's Tim Burton movie, who else is gonna do it?
Oh, I don't know. You tell us.
The legendary Denny Elfman. When I saw his name pop up on the opening credits,
Of course,
you know he's gonna be there. The but the parts when it becomes a musical, it was truly music to my ears.
Right.
Like he knocked it out of the park once again.
Yep, always, always. What did you think about the part where Beetlejuice narrates his origin story in Italian?
That threw me for a loop. But
Yeah, I was like, wait, what are we doing?
I wonder. Was that Michael Keaton speaking in Italian?
I don't think so.
A voiceover? Yeah, he's dedicated to his role. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but probably got somebody who's fluent in Italian to do it. That was pretty hilarious to explain the origin story between him and Monica Bellucci's character.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect us to find out how they met up or anything like that, which was kind of like it kind of bothered me because in the first movie when he was trying to marry Lydia, he was like, "Well, I always said that I wanted to marry one time and blah blah blah." And he was originally married to her. So, but then he also pulled out a finger with a ring on it. So that kind of makes sense. I mean, she did die. She did die.
Does anyone truly die in that world?
That is also true.
Now, one thing that made some headlines, is how much screen time Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice got. It's like 17 to 18 minutes. They wanted to keep it true like the original movie, but to me, he was well spread out.
Yeah, I agree with you. It felt like he was all over the place. Like even though he was 18 minutes in the movie,
Didn't feel like it.
it felt like he was in the movie. Maybe not in the first 20 minutes, but for the rest of the movie after that, once he gets introduced, it felt like he was almost in every single
Right.
scene. So yeah, maybe they were jumping around and it looked like he wasn't in there or whatnot, but I felt like it was really he was in there
He was in the
for
first 20 minutes. It was a quick flash of
that
what
doesn't count.
that Lily saw him in
All
the
right.
audience.
That's true. That's true.
But it was funny and fascinating that, he still had her picture on his desk,
Yeah.
thinking about her for the past 36 years.
Yeah, 36 years, yeah.
Now, the $150 million question,
Ooh.
and, and the sequel, the title writes itself. If you say his name three times, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice,
They should make the trilogy, right? They should make a sequel to the sequel.
and it won't, and it can't be another 36 years because everybody would be gone
Yeah.
except for General Ortega because how old everybody is right now. But this is the golden opportunity. You see the reception, you see the numbers on the box office. It's right there
Hey,
in front of them.
it made, as of today's recording, it made $153 million with a budget of like a hundred or 120. Let's just say by next weekend they get their marketing costs back up. Sorry,
They will.
their
They really
marketing
will.
budget. If they get their marketing budget by next weekend, this movie is going to be a hit. And if they don't want to do a part three, I don't know what they're thinking.
So the door is wide open, but it depends on if Tim Burton wants to do it. Michael Keaton will only do it if Tim Burton's directing.
Wouldn't you?
Exactly. I mean, there's been talks about this going back for since the 90s. It was almost happened in the 2010s. Um, I I don't know what gave it the kick in the ass that it finally happened. Probably the studio. And Tim Burton's like, if you're gonna do it, let me do it, my way, the right way. But I think Michael Keaton's been quoted different things like, "Oh, the original's great, leave it alone," but that he was up for it. But there was different ideas that, you know,
Well, when have you ever heard somebody talk ill about the work and it's a great work? Never.
no, but not ill. Like, oh, we have to follow up to it.
You don't need a follow up, but it would be fun to do it, right?
Exactly.
So I feel like if you're missing your opportunity if you don't do Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Maybe they just want to let the movie have its run. Maybe it's just speculating. I didn't read this anyway. Just my opinion that maybe it's in the works because as you see how successful you see the original cast members and the new cast members enjoyed it. This is right there in front of you. So hopefully we get an announcement. Who was the studio behind it? Was it Warner Brothers? Of course, Tim Burton's production
Warner
company.
Brothers, yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
they're
Warner
gonna,
Brothers is the distributor, yeah.
yeah, they're gonna push for it.
Well,
I feel like it has to happen. I feel like it's gonna happen.
all right. So let's close off. What number do you think it's going to end up at?
Hmm. With spooky season and Halloween season right there in front
Well,
of us,
we're assuming we're hold on. We're assuming that this movie is still going to be in theaters by then.
I'm gonna say with the reception I got, I know it's just we're fresh off opening weekend. I'm gonna say 500 million.
That's the same number I was thinking. I was thinking $500 million, and the reason why is because in the next 2 or 3 weeks,
Get out of my head.
there are not that many movies that are coming out that could probably take this from number one. The only thing that I can think of is Deadpool and Wolverine jumping back into the first spot, but I doubt it though.
If Disney does a re-release, but like
Well, the movie's not coming out until Deadpool and Wolverine. They're not. I think it's going to stay on for another 2 or 3 more weeks.
that's not surprising. Like we said, we're gonna milk it for everything it has. Now, side quests. The last season of Stranger Things is it currently in production, and it's gonna
I
take
see where
place.
you're going with this.
Yeah, we talked about this. The last season, I think, is confirmed is happening in 1988.
So
So, and we know who one of the stars is, who plays Lydia. Now, does the grown up does her grown up character? Is they gonna go see the movie? Is there gonna be an in joke on screen?
I sure hope so. I think that would be a cool thing for them to
I
do.
mean, the kids who are Ghostbusters in the first movie, I feel like they have to see Beetlejuice. I mean, excuse me, Beetlejuice, the original.
Yeah. I
That would be really something. I mean, nothing's leaked from the set of production right now in the final season of Stranger Things 5, but I think it'd be a really fucking cool thing if they did.
I agree with you. I think that it'd be very meta.
Yes.
It would be, yeah.
Well, considering how everything's meta and supernatural on that, that's certainly possible. I feel like we'll get at least one Easter egg for sure. But I feel like that has to happen. But Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Warner Brothers, please make the sequel. Beetlejuice. It's right there in front of you. The fans want it. We want it. Grimm definitely wants it.
Just so you guys know.
Johnny 64 wants it.
Oh, does he?
I'm assuming so. I'm
Oh,
speaking
you're
for me.
assuming. Okay. Oh, you're speaking for him. I will quote something that Grimm told us when we watched the movie. And he said something along the lines of he puts this up with Willy Wonka. Sorry, not Willy. Well, Wonka the movie.
Well,
Where-
in terms of a musical, right?
well, in terms of he liked it so much that it's on par with Wonka.
Right. This could be his movie of the year. That if we put Deadpool and Wolverine aside, obviously we have to ask him about that.
I don't know. That's a good question. We should ask that.
But
So,
this movie, I could definitely see being in my top 5 at the end of the year.
really,
Obviously, it's recency bias.
probably.
But I enjoyed it that much. But go on. What were we gonna say?
Oh, I was going to close out.
Go right ahead,
So
sir.
the question goes out to you guys. What do you guys think? Did you guys see Beetlejuice? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you think that they should make a Beetlejuice? Let us know in the comment section down below.